Have you ever wondered what led you to buying a tumble stone instead of a crystal tower or sphere? You may not have recognised that there was a gentle nudge from your soul for a practical reason, maybe the answer to a question. And today I'm going to help you notice more often what it is your guidance might want you to recognise through the examples of what happened in the shop. And may you also recognise when your ego is making a purchasing decision, not your partnership with your soul. Hi there, I'm Shamara and welcome to my channel, and especially thanks to those who've been watching my videos regularly. Today I'm going to take you through the spiritual reasons for a particular crystal purchase, being a tumble, why that seems to be today the better shape than any other when you went to buy your crystal. And while I've aimed this at beginners, there may be a few insightful tips for a more experienced buyer too. Now, you may have already discovered my video about the reasons not to buy tumbles, and there's also one about the non-spiritual reasons to buy this shape for customers who aren't into the metaphysical. Here I'm going to add 8 more reasons to buy tumbles from a spiritual perspective. Some are things I touched on in the other videos, but this time I'm going to add the spiritual slant. Now, by the end of watching all 3 videos, you should be very able to decide when a tumble is the best way to spend your money and when it's not. You'll also, as I said, be able to receive insights from your guidance more easily because you will be more familiar with what might happen. The basis for all the different reasons that I give you, of course, is that we all know tumbles tend to be the cheapest way to buy crystals for energy help, and we all sometimes need to be budget conscious. So the question I'm answering is, what were the spiritual reasons that my customers bought tumbles when I had other shapes available? Sometimes, why did I, the shop owner, have to take them to a tumble and not to that beautiful sphere? Now, the most common reason that people felt comfortable starting with tumbles was they were new to this whole thing. They weren't sure if they were their thing. It was a friend, it was a book, it was social media saying, you've got to try the crystal. My quartz point changed my life. However, for you, crystals might not be the healing tool. And if you're buying for someone else, it may not be their healing tool. So this was a great way to start experiencing crystals in a gentler way. And that's what happened to me. I bought tumbles first because when I started, I was unemployed and financially vulnerable. This way, I could, and you could, know whether you're just caught up in the hype or whether you actually can notice that carrying this tumble around did seem to help you mentally and emotionally, that your mind perhaps went quieter while you were holding the purple stones, that your anger was reduced when you were having the orange stones, so you could cope with your parent easier. And if it proves that crystals aren't your thing, you are more irritated by them than helped by them, it's low cost, so please then gift it to another person. Please gift it to a beautiful park or the river to bless the area. Now, probably one of the more common reasons that people came in when they were an experienced buyer was because they were someone who ran group sessions and they wanted to improve the session's effectiveness with tumbles. So, for example, they'd be buying kyanite tumbles because they wanted the mind to settle, the energy to shift so that they could get more out of this session. And who would those people be? Teachers of yoga, energy workshop teachers, and of course those who were doing meditation guidance. Interestingly, as time went on, not only did the healers come in, but also the counsellors and the psychologists and other therapists were starting to buy tumbles for spiritual reasons or energy reasons. One, to first see if they could feel more supported during the session and less drained by having some crystals. And secondly, so that not only do they give the customers some, or their clients I should say, some nice crystals to take home, they could at least feel that they were giving them the right crystals at a low cost for that client to be better supported. If you want to learn more about therapy and crystals, leave a comment, I can create a video. And we had plenty of parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles coming in who wanted to share the crystal experiences with the kids, not just from the point of view of the natural world, but also energetically. They wanted to test whether the child would benefit from learning about crystal help. Would it help them psychologically? Would it help them energetically? And, tumbles were great. If the child didn't care, no harm done in terms of costs. We also had the people who came in for their art creations, for their craft projects. So had a few customers who were buying crystals because they were guided to add them to their mixed media to elevate the energy for all of those who saw this artwork, and then of course for the one who bought it. And similarly, even people crafting discovered they needed to add tumbles to their gift boxes, to the plant pots they were decorating, and to aquariums they were gifting, because again, it was just going to give that energetic boost to the recipient, let alone themselves. Now, another common reason was people wanted to be wearing always the right tumble every different day. And how do you get loads and loads of different tumbles to wear? You do bracelets, well, that doesn't suit everyone. Or you wear pendants. But to constantly get pendants that are shaped and set in metal was got quite expensive. So, you know, you buy a tumble, you put it in a spiral, you put it in a basket like this, a fraction of the cost. Maybe you're someone who's going to get into grids, and you've noticed it's getting very, very expensive every time you set up a new grid. So you might be able to find that you can substitute some of the shapes with tumbles, do your intuition to see which shapes you can do that with. Otherwise, it's not much good if you end up with a grid that really doesn't power you along properly. I did touch upon the fact that some people will feel a calling to gift. Well, now let's talk about the energetic reasons this can happen. Of course, if you're going to be gifting things to strangers in the street because it feels right to do so, or you're just getting this big nudge from your soul that you need to do it, you know, it's a beautiful piece of nature. You know that there's some energy benefits. And being a small tumble, less likely to make you feel really bad. You can gift a lot more people for the same cost as buying a nice big point. But also, it's less embarrassing for the other person to receive it when it's just something small. They go, oh, it's a few dollars. Thank you very much. I really enjoy it. So you're probably asking, well, why or how would someone be gifting? So how did we get to know about this option? We had several customers who came in and bought crystals for gifting to other people, but one in particular, she was an amazing woman. At the end of her life, she wanted to continue to support people, and so she found that gifting our inexpensive tumbles, also our inexpensive pendants, was just perfect for her to feel part of the community, part of the assistance network. Now, why might you be gifted to do this? Well, if you're like me, you're a little bit not so good with generosity. You tend to take people's help all the time, but you're not giving it, and that's not good karma for you, or certainly bad energy flows. So your soul is trying to get you to realize how much joy there can be in giving. Also, you might have a numerology of 8. And so then you say, but if I give to people, it's going to cost me a lot of money. I don't have the money. If your guidance knows that's not the case, they're again going to say, come on, we need you to practice the fact that you've got plenty. A tumble is all you need to give. So we want you to keep buying tumbles and giving them away, buying tumbles and giving them away, until you finally get the message that life is so much better when there's give and take. Perfect lesson. And you have to realize for the gifter, for the giftee, the receiver, it can actually be just exactly what they need. This beautiful piece of crystal given to them at a time they're feeling like no one cares, or they love crystals and they just wish someone would give them one, but they don't know who to ask for one because they certainly can't afford it. But energetically, you also know that you'll be told which tumbles to buy and which tumbles you're giving to which person, so that the person who gets the tumble is always getting the exact energy they need in the moment. So maybe you'll discover that you have to give someone a black stone, and as you say that, the person says, oh, I just needed this. I've been having such a terrible time with people at work and there's all their negativity. And you'll go, oh. And you might even feel you have to gift them a stone in yellow because they just need that optimism, that positivity, that sense of abundance in their life, and a yellow stone does that perfectly. So gosh, that was a lot of reasons, and that was purely about the energetic perspective. I hope you got several ideas for yourself. Don't forget to watch my related videos here and here. And after watching all 3 of my why not to buy tumbles, you should be able to make very good decisions relating to buying crystals in this form. So So I'm Shamara, I'm a crystal intuit, and my purpose now is to actually share all of the things that I learnt over the years to improve my channel about crystals myself, so that you can just discover how amazing the world of crystals is, and that they are just fabulous support for anyone on a spiritual journey, if it's your thing. Namaste.